Welcome to Shredded Trees. Today I want to tell you about what I think is the best value harness for a professional climber on the market. This is the one that I choose, and it's just gotten better. It's the Tre Rex 2.0, and I want to show you some of the great features and what they've upgraded from the last version, which I've been climbing on almost exclusively for about the last 5 years. The Tre Rex is especially lightweight, and it's got a few key features that I feel like every saddle needs to have, but even many of the most high-end, most expensive top dollar saddles just don't have. I want to run through some of those here. To start off, we've got these great gear loops, and they're fixed, they're slim, they're profile, they don't stick out far, but because they've got this plastic insert, they also don't change shape, they don't move, which makes it really easy to find them to rack gear and to use them when I'm up in the tree. I always know where they are, they're always there, they don't move, they don't catch stuff. So it's a simple detail, but I absolutely love it. It's also got all of these little small tabs so that you can do some kind of cool customizable things. I've got my scabbard mounted up through this gear loop. I can still use it, and it tends to keep it from flapping around, keeps it from getting snagged, and makes it super easily accessible. Also, we've got these fixed gear loops here along the main, this upper support strap. That makes it easy to mount these permanent gear racking carabiners like the DMM Vault here, and then of course the Rock Exotica transporter. So we've got a couple of those. They fit in, they hold nicely. So I live in California where it's hot, and you've got these great mesh panels that make this a very breathable and comfortable harness. You've also got this attachment point here, which is a fall prevention attachment point. So this is a rated attachment point. So if you're in a bucket and you've got a really short tether that'll keep you from falling out of the bucket, you can clip that in here, and then your tether will be behind you rather than in the way of the work you're doing, and that is an acceptable safety measure for fall prevention. Not fall arrest, but fall prevention. And then you've got a couple of new things on this harness that are new to this particular one. It wasn't on the last version. We've got this bungee that goes all the way around the outside and comes here, and that makes it so that you can use a Unicender without having to clip a bungee up high. I haven't got that quite dialed yet. I've been clipping things to here, and so that's not a big game changer for me, but for some of you guys, it's a really elegant way to deal with that problem. And then of course, my favorite feature, and this is the big game changer from the last one, check out these lower D-rings. I do all of my work, my lanyard, my primary time points off these lower D-rings, and they've got this great flared out shape that makes them super easily accessible. The knots that are holding my bridge in place no longer interfere with the gates. They've got lots of room to clip carabiners. That is just fantastic. When it comes time to replace the bridge, you don't actually have to buy the specific bridge that the manufacturer gives with the harness, like most every other harness on the market. This is actually rated to use any EN 1891 Type A static line, which is actually a pretty wide selection. There's a lot of them on the market. And that often means that you can just take a piece of your climb line, because many of those are EN 1891 Type A rated, replace your bridge, tie it off, and you can maintain the safety rating of your harness. Another great feature this harness has is this NFC tag. Ailerid's got a new partnership with this company called Scannable, and they've got this hardware that actually works with your phone. So you don't need a special scanner, you don't need any special hardware, you just use your phone and their app, and now you can keep track of your inventory management stuff. You can keep track of when the inspections were, the manufacturing date, when it needs to be retired, things like that. You can assign each saddle to a specific person. There's a lot of cool things you can do within that software using this built-in scannable tech in the harness. Another cool feature, especially if you have to share your harness with other people in the crew, it can be hard to get this balancing point right that you use when you're climbing. And that depends on the distance here between the hip belt and your connecting paw where your bridge is attached. So the Ailerid's done a great job of making this super easily adjustable. If you find you have to use a lot of effort to sit up, then you want to make that tighter and you just pull that tab. If you find that you feel like you're crowding your system all the time and you're too tight, then all you got to do is pull this other tab and it'll actually release under tension. And so it makes it super easy to adjust that point to be comfortable working in the harness all day. So the first big difference I want to show you guys here, this is the old harness. These were the paws before, and the biggest complaint about this thing is they're just small. But if you look in comparison, look at that size difference. That's enormous. All the difference in the world when it comes to clicking big carabiners or snaps. So, you know, it's hard to hit that sometimes when you're not paying attention, or if you've got a knot in the way, or there's a lot of things that can interfere. But this guy got tons of room. They flare out a little bit. Love it. One of the complaints some folks had about the old harness were these triple lock buckles. You had to put them in at 90 degrees and then let it rotate in. Personally, I love them because they felt really secure, and to me it was easy. But what happened was some people were pressing it and finding that it wouldn't just pop out like that, and then they were actually breaking the plastic part of the buckle there in order to get it free. So what they've done with the new harness is they've switched to these, they call them double lock buckles, but instead of having to rotate it 90 degrees like that, these actually have enough clearance in this opening to be able to just clip it. They've also gone with a metal press button here, so there's a little bit more durability there. So that holds itself in place, comes out just like that. Now they're super easy. Some of you may like that, some of you may not like that change. I kind of like the old buckles, but this does make it easy to get in and out of. Another key difference is this old harness didn't have a rated attachment point here for life support rated suspenders. So you could put whatever suspenders you want and attach them to these little tabs, and they would just hold your saddle up, but it wasn't life support rated. But the new harness does have an attachment point right here in the back, so you can put on some suspenders that are rated to actually support you for life and for fall arrest. In Europe, this Vector Chest X harness is a fall arrest rated, life support approved chest harness. So this green loop here is a rated attachment point. And this system, combined with the SRT loop and this green loop where it's captured here with the belt, this whole system together is actually a CE approved, European standards approved life support fall arrest system. It's not ANSI approved because ANSI requires you to have a dorsal attachment point, which, whatever, they've got their reasoning. But so it's technically not ANSI approved. Europe, yes. America, technically no. There's another harness that shall for now remain unnamed that comes with this really cool adjustable bridge hardware, but the whole harness itself is really expensive, like a couple $100 more than this one. So I want to show you how I set up my harness to have an adjustable bridge for those relatively few times I still use a moving rope system. So the Ailerid harness actually comes with this friction cord, this 6mm friction cord, and some instructions on how to do an adjustable harness with a friction hitch. I don't like that. It's too long. I can't get it short enough. It's just kind of messy. I wasn't crazy about it. But I have this old Petzl, or this roll and lock by CT, Climbing Technologies, and I've got it mounted using that same friction cord here to the same points, and my bridge still has a stopper knot, so even if this were to fail, this whole thing's still totally safe. So this is an awesome way to do an adjustable bridge. I can get it really tight and close to me if I want it. If I want it down here, sometimes I like that. I can also stretch it out as far as you would want, and I'll show you how that works. I've got my tail bunched up out of the way. All I gotta do is lift this, and I can just pull my bridge through just as easy as you would on the other harness. And now, this is kind of cool when you get this much length to it. Let me show you what we can do. For those of you guys who like to use moving rope systems, being able to push your hardware out away from you really far allows you to do some cool stuff. So I can hand over hand here, and I don't even have to tend any slack, which makes this version of hip thrusting actually pretty efficient. And then when I'm ready to come down, I can just pass my loop over and I can come down how I normally would. One of the reasons I like having this semi-permanently on my harness is because of how elegant this whole situation is. But if I just pull down here, it actually advances the whole system for me. No slack tending needed. You could also, using the system, use a foot lock to pull your slack out so it's not so arms heavy. Or if you have a foot ascender or a foot knee ascender, you can use that with the mechanical advantage there. Right now, Tree Stuff is the only people selling the new harness. So if you want it and you order it from most any other place, you'll get the old version, but treestuff.com has the new one, and if you use my link, then I get a little bit of commission. Just to let you know.